Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. I am Amy, along here with my sister Molly. We help high-achieving women increase their income, but most importantly, their impact. We are neighbors, sisters, and business partners. We have built 8-figure businesses together, traveled the world together, raised our children together, mentored thousands of men and women together, and it's all because we have a penthouse mindset. We aim for the top, and we show others how to empower themselves to peel back the layers and truly step into their greatness and calling. Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse.
Hello, and welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. This is your host, Molly Kroeker, and I am so excited because our podcast is all about women who are making not just an income, but an impact. And that's really what we want to focus on. And it's all about visioneering today and what that means, right? It's such a great word. And there's a book that I read called Visioneering, and it's by Esther Hicks, and it was so profound and worth reading. But what I want to do is just talk a little bit about, now we've really talked about creating this new identity and living from it. But when you create a vision, it's really about creating who you need to be. Because let's be honest, if you were it, you would already have it. Like if you were already being her or him, you would already have that. So who do I need to be able to feel that experience? You have to match to the new experience and build that desire and be emotionally connected to it, be emotionally involved with it. And we talk a lot about that, about the feelings that you have with the thoughts that you're having, because it's the feeling that dictates then that desire that creates the action, not the procrastination, but the action that you need to take. So when we talk about visualizing, a lot of times I will tell people, I want you to make a list of, especially when it comes to vision boards, because of course it's the beginning of the year, everyone's made their vision boards. And this was me. I would make the vision board, but quite honestly, I wasn't her. I wasn't embodying her. I hadn't ascended to her. I was operating from the same limited thinking, fearful Molly, angry Molly, the need to be right Molly. And so I'd put all these things on the vision board. Now, did some of those things happen? Yes, because I muscled and willed and created them, right? But I want to come from a new identity, and creating a vision for yourself feels so different. You come from abundance and prosperity when you create that vision that way. So really getting in the feeling of what it is like to absolutely, what would you love? If anything and everything was possible, what would you love? That's what I'm going to ask you today. And so when you have a minute, you're not driving, you're on the treadmill, because that's where I consume a lot of podcasts, is I want you to write a list of 50 things that you would love, that you would absolutely love. And it doesn't matter when you're listening to this podcast. You could listen to this in the middle of the year. It doesn't matter. What would, if anything, if any and all things are possible, what would you absolutely love? And so with that, your brain, you're going to come up with probably 10 things. Honestly, you're going to come up with 10 things easily, and then you're going to move down the list. And by the time you get to 25, it's going to be a little bit more of a stretch. And that, again, that's your ego. It's keeping you safe. And so it wants to keep you safe and tell you, but you already have everything. Like, what more could you really want? So I want you to get to 50, even if it doesn't have to be anything grandiose, right? Like, yes, I want you to have a safe vehicle to drive to your family Christmas in, but it could be something as simple as, and I want this to be about you, not about donating or giving away things, but make them about you. And maybe it's just simply that you would love to have a latte once a week, guilt-free, so it can be something like that. It doesn't have to be, I want a house in the mountains and 10,000 square feet. Great. But we're going to practice going in every day to the imagination. That's why I want you to really work on this list and then create. And creation is so big as part of this. So we're going to talk about that too. But What would I love is the most powerful question you can ask people. So I want you to write that down because this is so great when you're out in the world. And I just love, I asked the woman that did my nails today, I said, what would you love? And, people don't get asked that question very often. What would you absolutely love? To ask my Pilates instructor, who I love and adore, what would you love? Like, what would you absolutely love? It's so fun to start asking people that question. They're kind of like take you back, like you walk into Pilates or, your gym and you're like, talking to the person at the front desk and you're like, what would you really love? So it is one of the most important and powerful questions to ask people. It seems easy, but if it's hard for you to think about what you would love, it's because you're not allowing yourself to receive. And that is something that really changed me last year, is the words open to receive. So that is the title of my book, Open to Receive. I absolutely love it because that is not how I lived the first 53 years of my life, but now I'm open to receiving. So what I want you to do is so we've come up with this list, right, of 50 things. And so I want you to really work on this creative plane. And in Napoleon Hill, we talk about everyone has five senses. When it comes to the thoughts you have and the feelings you have about those, everybody, animals, humans, we all have see, smell, taste, hear, and touch. We all have those five senses. Now, what we have, and only humans have this, is we have six higher faculties: reasoning, will, memory, intuition, perception, and the last one is my favorite, imagination. And so I'll be honest, I did not live on that creative, imaginative plane for a long time. Number one, I always said, oh, I'm not creative because I'm more analytical, statistical. I like math. I like science. I'm not creative. I don't decorate. That doesn't, that's my sister. I don't like to rearrange furniture. And my daughter's incredibly artistic and creative, but everybody has a creative and imaginative plane. In fact, I even told my sister, once I realized that I was lacking this over the last 2 years, I've really done a lot of work on myself. I said, if you come over and I literally have Legos out, watch out. But I have puzzles. So something that gets me in a creative plane, that gets me out of my to-do list, my work mode, my mechanical mode, imagination, getting in my flow. That's why I love a morning routine. It gets me in my state of flow. And so imagination, I always say imagination is also your ability, kind of this direct portal to talk to God. And so imagination doesn't just work through the mind, right? It works through the law of attraction. But again, you're being in your human, you're being in your Molly, you're being in your head, let's just say. When you're in your head and your body still has worry and doubt, you won't attract what you want. If you are in your head and you are experiencing lack and limitation, you won't attract what you want. If you are not taking action, you're in your head, you're not taking action. What will people think? All those things. You're not going to attract what you want. And if you don't believe that it really could happen to you, because that's the bottom thing. Like I always say to people, you are limitless. Our first in-person event was called Live a Limitless Life. And, it's easy to say, right? Like you are limitless. But do you truly believe that you, listening to this podcast right now, you are limitless? And a lot of us are like, well, no. So no matter how much dreaming you do and all the things that you love and the vision board, but if you are coming from fear, worry, doubt, lack, limitation, you're not taking action, you don't believe, again, that would be really nice, but I'm not her. You will never attract what you want. Attraction is how you'll draw it to you, but that's why imagination is so key, is that to have that imaginative, creative plane, it's doing that new self-identity. It's that inner work. It's the self-awareness. A lot of people call it self-image. I just don't want people to get confused with self-image as what you see on the outside. Because a lot of people will say, Molly, why have you had the experience that you've had? Why has your coaching business grown the way it has when so many people are coaches? Or why has this grown? Or, how are you truly a lot of people ask me, how in the world did you finish Ironman? And I didn't do anything different, but I was different. I saw myself as an athlete. And you can ask all my friends who know me from high school Molly, college Molly. I was not a great athlete. I was mediocre. I mean, yeah, I played tennis and basketball, but I got cut from volleyball. It wasn't anything wonderful. I didn't love running back then. So I look at all those, and that is the thing is, number one, I started calling myself an athlete. Anything that follows I am is truth. I am an athlete. I had done this since my mid 30s when I got second place in a triathlon. I thought, oh my gosh, I found something I'm really good at. I found something I'm really good at. So I became known like I am an athlete. I am an athlete. So it's what follows I am. So it's not necessarily doing anything different. I just was different. I was different. So back to vision casting. I love this. Let's talk about what you would love, right? If any and all things are possible, what would you love? I would love to rest more and make more money. Huh, that sounds lovely. That sounds lovely. If you want an easy life, you have to let easy in. So it's a practice and it's an art. Vision casting and visioneering is a practice and it's an art. So again, go back to those 50 things. It might take you a little list, but it's going to allow you to keep thinking and thinking and thinking. That is going to create some incredible results. So second, you have to be open to receive. If you're not open to receive, you don't have this amazing vessel to give through you. So you need to be wide open. You need to be wide open. And so that's what makes Oprah, whether you love her or you don't. I love her. I'm a personal Oprah fan. In fact, that is one of my visions is I put on a list of 50 things that I would love. I would love to interview Oprah. I would love to have Oprah on my podcast. I would love to have Oprah on Meet Me in the Penthouse. So but that's why Oprah is so incredible and has so many gifts is she is an open vessel to receive. She is open to receive. And when you're open to receive, then it just flows out of you, flows through and out of you. And so what do you really want, right? What is it that you really want? Because you know what? It makes you grow. And I know a lot of you, your word for the year is growth, but if you're not growing, you're suffering. So I want you to really think about that as you craft this visioneering. Again, it's a practice, it's an art. And so the next thing I want to talk about is desire. So desire is one of the key principles in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. It's one of my favorite principles, but it is a powerful, creative energy, and it is the jumping off point for more attraction. Okay. And if you want some powerful people that talk about desire, Napoleon Hill, clearly, Earl Nightingale, go back and listen to some of his YouTubes. We do that in the morning routine in the self-discipline camp, 5:30 in the morning. If you want to know more about that, definitely that is a place that we all come together, nearly 100 of us, where we meditate, we journal, we write gratitude, we have a self-confidence formula. We listen to a little Earl Nightingale, one of the fathers of desire. Wayne Dyer, another powerful, powerful. Neville Goddard. I had never heard of Neville Goddard until I started doing this work, The Power of Awareness. Walter Russell. That's somebody that I have just studied for the past 4 months in my mastermind. I pay to go to a mastermind, you guys, and guess what? It causes me to be around better people, bigger thinkers than me. So something that I know I didn't get to personally study with Bob Proctor, but people that don't pay attention. And that is so true. I pay for masterminds now. I pay for high level coaching now. So, but back to desire. You will procrastinate if you're not emotionally involved with it. You won't take action. So a desire is it is the feeling about the wish fulfilled. Neville Goddard says that. So it is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So it is already done. It is a knowingness. I always say, like, we talk about need is super low level, right? And then you could want something a little bit higher level. You can want it just because you want it. And then there's a believing that is higher level than just wanting. And then the ultimate is a knowing. And so with desire, it is a knowing. It is just a knowing. And I always say, a knowing that when you land in a blizzard and you are walking out to your car in Nebraska and you believe your car is on the fifth floor, it's a little bit different than if you know that your car is on the fifth floor. You have the picture, you have the proof, this is where it is. So believing versus knowing. So there is a deep knowing, and you get emotionally involved in the idea, and you'll do whatever it takes to do. So whatever it takes means never giving up, surrendering to a story that we told in order to achieve. Sometimes surrendering is really, really hard. It means having faith. It means giving it to God. It means resting and relaxing instead of pushing and forcing, making a decision to do something that you are scared to do. Surrender to the yes instead of the no. I want you to think about that with desire, is surrendering to the yes instead of the no. A lot of times, and this is how I operated in my former self, is I would make the decision to say yes to something if the money was there. But that's the best part about the is faith is, and not religiously speaking, but from a spiritual perspective, is the knowingness, like it is already there. So now I make the decision and then the money comes. And that's trusting, that is faith, that is a whole nother topic. But surrendering isn't not doing anything. It's work. It can be very challenging, but it's letting go and not doing those things anymore, right? The hustle, the grind. We want to if you want easy, you got to let easy in, right? So thinking of the wish fulfilled means you're observing the observation of the wish fulfilled. The more you feel the wish fulfilled and what you desire, the more you will be a vibrational match to have the wish fulfilled. And I'm going to repeat this again. Your thoughts create your emotions. Your emotions control your vibration. Your vibration dictates your frequency. Your frequency determines what you attract. So you'll be a vibrational match from the wish fulfilled. Live and act that the wish is done, right? It is done. And that's where the being comes into. You just practice the being because it's already done. It is already done. So let's just say you want to take a trip. And a lot of people, and this was me, I would wait to book the trip until all the money was there, right? Like, okay, I have it all. Now we can book it. Now I say, that's where I want to go. I book the trip. The money will come. I want to fly first class. You book the first class tickets. The money will come. Okay, I'm not saying go heavily into debt or anything like that, but I'm saying live and act that the wish is done because you already know everything I have set up, everything I have worked on, everything I've taken inspired action is going to happen. It's already done. It's already done. It's already answered. The money is in the bank and the tickets are bought. So that is the decision. A lot of times, a lot of people, again, make the decision to invest in themselves based on the money. And I think this is such a great example for someone who is starting a business. And I have lots of friends in this space. They're starting a business and they're like, okay, I really want to invest in coaching, but I'm already quitting my job. I'm walking away from a salary. I'm going to be, 3 months out of this income. But once I get the money, then I'm going to start coaching with you. And I'm like, well, again, back to that question. If anything and everything was possible, what would you love? Oh, I'd love to be earning an income right when I open the doors to this business. Okay, so let's say that that is true. How would that investment look? Oh, I for sure would invest in coaching. Okay, then the answer is simple, invest in the coaching. Because if you expect to be a certain place 90 days after you open business, an hour after you open business, an hour, a year after you open the business, 5 years after you open the business, then act as if the wish is fulfilled. It's already done, right? So that is not having faith, right? What action do you need to take to live in the assumption? And so the assumption of living from the wish fulfilled versus the belief that it's not fulfilled. So if I was a billionaire, how would I act? And that's the whole embodiment practice. And again, that is what we are so passionate about teaching is how do you embody, how do you ascend, how do you become this new self-identity? And it's working on all of these things and being so consciously aware of it. And then also taking the time to spend with yourself alone, to surrender, to get quiet, and all of this work that goes into visioneering and visioning is powerful. Again, it's a belief, it's a practice, and you can craft this practice and make it work for you. And so if you are hungry to know more, our coaching program, our signature coaching program is always 12 weeks. It's called A View from the Top, and we are going to be discussing being abundant and aligned in our next masterclass, January 16th. And you can register now. It's in the show notes. Tell your friends, tell the people you love. But this is the work, friends. This is the work that has created the success for Amy and I, that has just exploded us in the last several years. We were successful before all of this. We were successful with just enough knowledge, but I'm telling you, this is powerful. This is powerful when you do the work on yourself. And so with that, we look forward to seeing you at our masterclass event on January 16th. And as always, we will see you in the penthouse.
Thank you for tuning in today for Meet Me in the Penthouse with Sisters Amy and Molly. Please rate and review. We love those 5-star ratings and would love to have you go to our website at sistersnextdoor.com.